Hello, everybody. Welcome to the last lecture of the semester. And today's lecture is going to be on violent crime. So I'm doing something a little bit different today. Instead of embedding a video clip on just about every slide, I'm going to be embedding instead audio clips. So there may be one or two videos in the lecture. This will be one of them. But most of them will have an audio clip. So if you download the video, download the PowerPoint lectures because that's what you're going to have to do. So you download it and then you click on the microphone and then you'll hear me explaining the information. So with this first video, I think I'll discuss the first slide and then from there will be audio clips. So today we're talking about violent crime. And violent crime is something that has, for whatever reason, always fascinated most people when it comes to discussing crime. It is also the crime we fear the most because violent crime involves someone being hurt physically, but there's also other costs and ways that violent crime hurts. It hurts the victim not only physically, but it also hurts the person emotionally, and it also hurts the family that is connected to the victim. So there are a lot of costs to violent crime. So let's talk about some of the causes of violence, and this is your first slide. Personal traits. There are times when we can link personal traits or personality traits to the individual who is perpetrating violent crime. So mental abnormalities, sometimes a person has a psychiatric or a emotional disorder that may make them more prone to violent crime or less in control of their violent impulses. Low IQ has been tied to violent crime. There are some serial killers that are very intelligent, but there are other types of predators that have also been shown to have IQ issues. They have low IQ. And then depression, paranoia, a lack of remorse, which makes a person sociopathic. So there are some personality traits that can be linked to people who are violent. Ineffective families. Now, many of us that have studied violent predators, especially serial killers, there's been a pattern in most of these cases, and most of the cases show where there is violence or dysfunction in the family unit. So absent or deviant parents might be a link. Sometimes people are abused. There's inconsistent discipline. Sometimes when children are disciplined for bad behavior, so to speak, the parent may go overboard where they abuse them. But sometimes they don't restrain the child at all. And a lack of discipline can also lead to a person acting out without consequence. And then a lack of supervision. There are children who grow up in homes where they're not being supervised, and they're more likely to get into trouble and harm other people. Now, evolutionary factors. Here we are looking at some biological connections to violent crime. Violence is inherent in all humans. So there's this belief that violence is inherent. It is a natural part of being human. And there are some people that might go, but let me give you an example of that. Have you ever held a child, a baby, for instance, about 9 or 10 months old, and you do something that frustrates the baby, and the baby hits you, and you go, don't do that. So when children are very small, in frustration, they might whack you. If you're playing with a toy of theirs or you're teasing them and they hit you, and you have to remind them, don't hit. Hitting is wrong. You have to teach them that. Because their natural reaction to being frustrated or to having something constrained or blocked from their ability to get it is to act out violently. So they'll hit the parent or they'll hit the adult, and the adult has to say, don't hit. So sometimes violence comes out of our frustrations. And then eros versus thanatos. So this comes from Freud. This eros meaning the instinct to live or love, and thanatos is the death instinct. And he argued that there's these two instincts of life and death that war within the individual. People that have a very strong thanatos or death instinct are people that tend to live on the edge. They're thrill seekers. And there are some people that get off, if you will, or they're enthralled by violence. So they like to live on the edge. They like to ride the highest roller coasters and leap out of airplanes and do things for the thrill of it. Now, it doesn't mean that if you love roller coasters, you're a violent person. But people that have a high thanatos instinct are people who like to live on the edge. They like to tempt death. And part of that may be hurting other people and getting away with it. Thrill seekers, thrill killers, if you will. And then exposure to violence. When children live in violent neighborhoods, they learn that violence is an everyday way of life. But they also learn that violence can be instrumental, that you can harm other people to get them to bend to your will.